So you have to look at comps. What have other properties sold for? What's going to be my return if I operated it the same way they're operating it with my new debt payment on top of it?
Yep.
What is the upside? What can I raise the rent to immediately? Are the leases expired? Can I immediately go in and just paint the unit and ask for $50 more? It's a lot of things you have to factor in.
Welcome to Highballers, where we hold nothing back, talking all things real estate and real estate investing.
I'm Merrill.
I'm Josh Harmon Sr. You don't give me my intro this time. Last time you did,
Hey.
I didn't appreciate the half-ass.
You're right. You're right. I didn't do it justice that it was.
Thank you.
And so I let him know before. We're going to pass it on. We're going to get it all organized here. But we got some questions for you again here on episode 2. So let's get into it.
Awesome. So I'm going to do these out of order because this first one is near and dear to my heart. I'm kind of offended that somebody would ask this question. Are realtors going away? Me being a principal broker and also a realtor, why the heck would you ask that question? No, we're not going away. I bet Matt would wish we would go away. He probably would make more money as a house flipper and as a wholesaler. But we're not going nowhere. We're gonna be here forever. No, on a serious note, I do think that technology is gonna weed out a lot of the not producing realtors. What I stress to people who want to join my company is that we want to be producing realtors. Like we want to add value. We actually want to sell properties and do what we say we're going to do. If you're just out there with a license, I mean, they should go away anyway. And I think Zillow, in some markets, they have call centers. You don't even have to be licensed. I don't know. And they're actually hiring real estate agents actually to be in their call centers and just take like salaries. And the average real estate agent makes like $25,000 a year. Yeah. So I do think a lot of the real estate agents are going to go out. I think the non-producing realtors are going to go away on a grand scale. So like on a $1.2 million deal, I got a 44 unit listing coming soon. You're not going to do that through a call center. It's just not going to happen.
There's no way. You're right, and I don't want to cut you off here. But when it comes to your bread and butter, what you've done so much on is that multifamily and the bigger deals. That will never be touched by something like that. By the Zillow, you were talking about off air before we started. Yeah. That's just not going to happen.
But Matt would love to save 6% on every flip that he sold. I do think he would love to not have to compete with realtors who are going to say they're going to sell house for 70 when it's really only worth 35.
So I do love realtors in a sense because we've tried back in selling on our own. Yeah. And what people don't understand is we do get a lot of deals because people refuse to pay that 6%. Yeah. And if they just understood, they're going to get you enough to make up for that 6%, trust me, and make your process a lot easier.
They should.
You're right, should. And maybe it will be a service to weed out the people that are not producing and just wasting marketing dollars for people like you having brokerages. Yeah. And so, I don't have a huge opinion. That's, all on Josh because he's deep down in it right now, especially starting his new brokerage and getting that rolling and getting some agents under him. So, I'm indifferent on it. I do like them on the back end. I do like them marketing my properties without us my team having to spend time on it. But, it would save us some money.
So answer your question, the non-producing agents will go away. The agents that produce, have brands, have client bases, have, testimonials, they're not going anywhere because their brand is cemented. The ones who don't produce, get out of it now, you're gone. Especially on the coast, like on the East Coast, East Coast, West Coast, the Florida, those larger markets, Zillow's heavy in those markets. I was telling him I was thinking about moving to, I was just looking at properties in Charlotte at one point. I don't know why, because I'm from the East Coast. And the first probably 15 properties were just Zillow properties. They weren't.
Charlotte's a huge real estate market. It is a really good real estate market for not being a huge, a major metro. It's still big, and I know a lot of top real estate investors that I've learned from in the past. They're based out of Charlotte.
Yeah, big time market. Let's go on to the next question.
I want to say one thing real fast before we go. We are based out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. So you still have that small town feel. Yeah. And I do feel like it will always, weeding out the non-producing agents, of course.
Please do that.
But you've got the guys building the brands here. Josh into the community. If you watch his videos where he's interviewing a lot of, people running for offices and different business leaders, he's getting in it, and there's something to say for that.
Yeah, really. I appreciate it, man. I feel the love. I thought you didn't like me because you didn't text me back on Saturday. I love you too, man. You wanna give me a hug?
Oh my God! Look at the height difference here.
So you guys have to give me some credit here. So I wear a blazer and some nice pants.
Oh,
He comes
man.
in here with a Henley on and some jeans. Y'all tell me in the comments who's best dressed and
This-
who respects this podcast. the most.
At least give us 5 to 10 episodes. Now that
No,
I
no,
know
no,
I
no,
got
no, 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 no,
competition
no, no,
here.
no, no. This is his daily attire.
I got a custom suit. A few of them. I'll
Why
bring
not?
it in here. But that's not, I've
just
worked
tell
in, let me tell you this. I've worked in banking, 6 years where I had to wear ties and sport jackets and button ups.
Yeah.
Nobody's here to tell me
I
what
like
to
your
wear
outfit,
anymore.
man. It's beautiful. You
And-
filled that shirt out really well.
But I may be, I may wear a button up one day.
Yeah.
I may wear a hat and a t-shirt the next. If he'd give me a Harmon Real Estate shirt, I'd wear a t-shirt and hat.
No,
But he won't do it. He won't give me a hat either, even though.
No.
You tell him how I gave you my hat.
Oh, it was through, we're on Rogers Avenue. If you're in Arkansas, he literally threw it out his window and I caught it. We were driving like 10 miles an hour
That's not a
in
lie.
traffic. So yeah, it's I appreciate it, but you won't wear my shirt, so I'm not giving you one.
He doesn't know that. He
I love it,
assumes.
man. Next
Oh.
question.
All right, move on.
This is a question that you got. How do I build a team? So it depends on what you're, if you're investing, if you're want to be an agent, if you want to wholesale, you want to flip. It's a lot of different
We thought
ways
this
to
would be
go.
good because we got 2 perspectives here on 2 different teams because we really have two objectives in what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's first thing is when do you decide to build a team?
Yeah.
It's when you can't handle it anymore because as an entrepreneur, or as a business owner, or a real estate investor, or real estate agent. There's a point where you'll add production and value by adding another team member.
Yeah.
And so I did it immediately because I knew where I want to be. I'm a scaled person. I want to scale from the beginning.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can bite you in the ass, but a lot of times you'll learn from it and grow. So I brought on Crystal as a kind of an admin operations, person. She was my loan assistant at the bank.
Yeah.
And
You stole her.
to give her kudos and credit, she was a Jerry Maguire situation. Who's coming with me? And she somehow trusted me and had faith in me and the business, and we've gone through the ups and downs together through this. But she came with me, and I couldn't do it without her at all. No way I could. And then we built it out from there. To me, so wholesaling is a big part of our business. And what I've learned over the years from mentors and from my real estate groups is we have to have sales reps. So we have 3 markets that we go in. I have acquisitions in all 3 markets. So they go out, go to appointments, get the deals under contract, and they have a singular focus. That's what we focus on. Everybody has a singular focus so they can go and dominate and crush that one focus.
Yeah.
And so that is it. They pass it over to what we call a dispositions manager, which is probably rare. People don't know. I would say 99% of people in our market do not know what that is. And when dispositions is what they do is they take that contract, the purchase contract, and they go market, not the property, because there's wholesaling, there's gray areas. They market the contract to an end buyer, which is an investor or a house flipper. And it may be us. We may buy our own deal. That's how we structure our business. And so they find that, so they go to networking events, they meet with other investors, they pull a list of, last 12 months worth of properties bought for cash, things like that, and then they sell that contract on an assignment. We step out, our transaction coordination, which is Crystal, she handles the deal, and we close it right there, and then we take our fee, and everybody's happy, and everybody makes money and does deals, and I call it the 4-wheel process. Lead intake, acquisitions, dispositions, transactions, and it's like a 4-wheel. If one person doesn't do their job, their singular focus, wheel falls off, you wreck, deal falls through.
So I have a follow-up question about what you just talked about. How do you keep, it's a 4-wheel process, of course, everybody's holding each other accountable. How do you pay these people? Because do they just wait till the deal's done? Because as being,
a good question.
from the top, your people who are under you probably aren't as financially secure as you. They want their money now. Like, how do you
Absolutely
take care of all these people? Because a lot of people who are starting off who listen to this, they may not have the the reserve to take care of these people in the meantime? Is it all commission? How does that work?
So in the beginning, I would hope before you probably stress the lead intake and maybe transaction coordination that you have commission only. It's just going to have to work that way. They get paid when you get paid, because remember, you're not getting paid either unless they get the deal. If you decided to go and hire the sales reps, so here's how we've got it. We've got Crystal, but she runs a lot more than just transactions. Sure. She's familiar with it, so she can do it quickly. She runs operations and transactions. She gets a base salary for her operations side, and she gets paid per deal, a flat fee for every deal that's closed. So everybody gets paid on a closed deal. Our lead intake, Sarah, we brought her in just to be an assistant to me and Crystal. She's hit the ground running. She decided that, we talked about being a lead manager and lead intake. She's now taking all our leads in. She's moved to full-time starting yesterday, and we'll get a new assistant, later on down the road. And she handles all of that. So she pushes it to the acquisitions, to whichever one it may be, Daniel, Desmond, anybody it may be. And she gets paid a flat fee as well, plus an hourly rate. And so, that's how I start lead intake. It's going to have some kind of hourly rate, unless you're doing, 30, 40 deals a month, which, that we're not on that scale, and most people aren't. And then you've got acquisitions and dispositions. They are commission only. That's just how it works. Just they need to be sales hungry, but they have opportunity to make a lot of money. We provide the leads. We pay for the leads. They don't have any expenses, but gas. Gas is all they have. We pay and source all the leads. They get them brought to them, and they go out there and make the deals, and that's how we get paid. And we get paid after closing. So they will all get paid after closing. That way they get their money. And the reason we buy our own deals, if we're going to do that, is if you're an acquisitions rep, do you want to wait till we flip a house, remodel it, sell it to get paid? No. Hell no, you don't. And so we buy it on a wholesale fee, pay them immediately, and we're going to buy it at the price we would sell it to another investor. And so we buy it, they get paid now, everybody gets paid now. And
so what's your role in everything? Because it sounds like everything's automated.
Well, it's not. Yeah, that's what we've been doing for the past, I don't know how many months.
If y'all don't know, hold on. If y'all don't know, Matt probably has like 99 grays in there. Because he's so stressed out all the time. He's like, man, I don't know. He's like, man, now we need to figure this out, that out. He's dyeing his hair for sure. I'm not dyeing my hair. So I am what you would call the visionary. Okay. Crystal's the integrator. I give us the leadership and where we're going and where the business is going and how it's growing. And I'm that communicator for everybody. We structure it where Crystal does manage all the employees, but it flows through, and I go with Crystal. And so, but I also have other businesses. This isn't it. Yeah. So I joined my real estate mastermind group that I've talked about before in the previous episode to grow my business, scale my business, and stepping out of my business. Yeah. I want to, what do they call it, the airplane view? Yeah. I want to be over the top. I want to view it. I want to look at reports. I want to see how it's going, be there for support and leadership, and to mentor them. But I don't want it in the day-to-day. I'm in it right now still, and I'm trying to get out of it because I've got another business I'm starting right now. You are.
I've got another one that's in the works, and one more that's also in the works, and I got presented something yesterday. So I would be what you call a serial entrepreneur.
Or a highballer.
A highballer. And so...
The highballer. I'm just, I'm highballer junior, I guess. Keep going, go ahead.
I want to build systems and processes so I can go and grow and scale businesses and hire the right way to where I can have those multiple streams of passive income. Passive, not active. I don't want to have any active income. I want it to be all passive and build the wealth at the same time while making sure and learning how to build the proper teams and get the right leaders in place so where they're happy and they're growing and it's their baby that they can grow. So
you guys may have been very inspired by what he just said, and that structure is awesome. You can honestly throw away 90% of the entrepreneurship books, and that's what they're talking about right there in 5 minutes. So we've read all the books for you. We've tried all the the e-myths and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Listen to what he just said and do it. It's very hard to do, and that's why some businesses are successful, some of them aren't.
That's right. This is not an easy deal. I mean, I've only been in this full-time, on my own for 15 months. And, some people operate at slower pace, some people operate at faster pace, and not everybody can do it the way I do it, and I can't do it the way other people can.
But give yourself some credit, though, because some people say, well, you've been here for 15 months, you just gave us that long spill. He's been watching businesses be built since he was a kid. It's
and
just,
my dad's been an entrepreneur since he could talk.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never worked for anybody hardly, and maybe I think he had a car sales job when he was younger, but that's it.
And he's a beast.
And so
he's downplaying that too. He's
I got to learn and actually work with him, managing his portfolio and stuff. So I've learned, close, and then I've learned from afar with watching other people and learning how they do it too.
Yeah,
So.
I've literally watched his dad. I've called him and said, hey, look, I can make you more money in your property. He's like, no, you can't, son. I've already done it. I've sold this property for like $1 million over what I bought it for.
Yeah.
And so he's learned from one of the best. So
And I will say, he's the king of getting in front of the right people, building the contacts that you need to. Yeah. It literally opens the doors to so many opportunities that other people don't get.
So next question. How do you analyze a small multifamily deal? I'll start on this one because somebody asked me this question this morning. A lot of people want to analyze small 4-unit, 5-unit deals on a cap rate. Well, you really can't.
Yeah.
A triplex, you can't really analyze it on a cap rate. The cap rate essentially is if you paid cash for it, what would your return be? You analyze a 3-unit or a 4-unit property on a cap rate, it's gonna be like a 3. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You have to, it's still residential, so you have to look at comps. What have other properties sold for? What's gonna be my return if I operated it the same way they're operating it with my new debt payment on top of it?
Yep.
What is the upside? What can I raise the rent to immediately? Are the leases expired? Can I immediately go in and just paint the unit and ask for $50 more? It's a lot of things you have to factor in. When you start to get into, I say, 5 units and above, you can start looking at cap rate, but you really can't even take a cap rate approach to like 10 units for me.
Yeah, I think we did briefly talk about the smaller ones in our first podcast.
Yeah.
And we said 10 units. I think 10 units is a good number to really start analyzing it that way.
Yeah.
You're analyzing now as a business, not as a individual property.
Not as an individual. You talk about residential, small 4 units, 3 units. I mean, just going off a cap rate, you're never going to make a deal work. You're going to miss out on deals. And like you talked about last week, opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Like you're spending your marketing dollars, your time, and then you finally get a deal in front of you. And you're like, all right, what's the 4 cap? I don't want it. Well, no, you didn't look because all the leases are expired. They are all 70 years old. None of them want to go anywhere. They make $2,000 a month and they're only paying $450.
Yep.
Well, you could have just asked them to pay $50 more. Hey, would they pay $50 more? That's you just got to dig a little bit deeper on the smaller deals. When you get into larger deals, you can say, all right, it's not a 5, it's a 5 cap, I don't want it, like he does. If it's 5 cap, I ain't looking at it. You could do that on the larger deals because it's a pretty good indicator for 10 units above. But the smaller ones, I think you need to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and I'll just be quick on this answer is like I said last week, I can analyze a 1 to 4 family in 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can.
Give me my cash flow. What's my cash flow? What's the value? We're looking at comps. I can pull those in a minute. I can tell you what the rent rate is, and then I will look at the, you go for purchase price. There's a lot of people go off for rent ratio. So if you're doing a single family duplex, they say a 1% is a minimum that we look at. Then you look at what value add or what maybe you can get rents up or whatever from there. So you got a $50,000 property. The rent's better at least be $500. I'm not looking at it at that point. I mean, I'm needing $650, $750, and that's kind of how this market is. We got some stingy buyers around here, and I don't blame them, but we do got some stingy buyers. And so
they can go with the non-producing realtors.
Yeah.
The lowball buyers and the non-producing realtors, y'all can go.
So 1.25% to me is a good starting point. Yeah. That's to decide whether I want to keep looking at this property or it's worth it. And then you may say duplex or fourplex, hey, is the water split? Or am I paying the water bill? That's the next thing. Then really you can estimate all the rest of it. It's pretty simple. Taxes, insurance, and you're good to go.
All right, so I got a question that's going to build off of this because we're going to have one other question. How when you're looking at a multifamily property, how do you add value? How do you go in and say, hey, look, this isn't an amazing deal, but this is how I can go in and add some value to where it's more profitable for me? What are some things that you look at?
And we slightly touched on a little bit last week.
Give five things.
Well, first of all, it's renovations and upgrades.
Yeah.
look at market rents. Are your market rents there where they need to be? Those two go hand in hand. Yeah. So say you've got a property, I'm just a quick example, that's got 30% vacancy. Yeah. Do they need upgrades? Do you have opportunity to gain rent? Now, if you don't have opportunity to gain rent, then your upside's not really there to make it, to add value. Yeah. So add value, get your rents up. Now you're not only adding actual retail value to your property, you're adding wealth, you're adding cash flow, you're increasing it. Now your cap rate's going up. You can turn around and sell it, refinance. You have a lot of opportunities. So you've got rehab, you've got market rents to check those. I mentioned last week things as well as insurance. Yeah. Insurance. You talked about taxes, which was a great point. Yeah. Going and talk to the city, looking at other taxes around, seeing if you maybe overtaxed. Yeah. Look at what you paid for it.
Or the other way. I had somebody who was buying a deal. It was a little bit over 40 years. Yeah. They built the property in 2011, 2012, somewhere around that time. Built the property, and essentially...
Was it still taxed on...
The original. It was year 5, and we didn't know. Like, okay, on this website it shows the taxes of this. On this one it shows the taxes are $20,000 a year more, and we couldn't figure out which one the taxes were. And the day before we put in this offer, we found out, your taxes are going up $20,000 this year.
See, so you've got to find that information, and then the last one, the easy one is property management. Yeah. That's a no-brainer. If you're comfortable and you know what you can operate that as, whether you do it in-house or source it out to another property management, if you got a mom and pop running this thing, not very efficient, just doing the way they've done it for 40 years, that's your gold mine. Yeah. Those are gold mines. Yeah. Just FYI.
The mom and pops, that's what they call them. So I look at, I try to get a little bit more creative because I've just looked at so many apartment deals. I look at what he talked about water. Is it sub-meter? Is each unit paying a water? And if it isn't sub-meter, if it's not separated with the infrastructure, does the market allow you to go in and say, hey, look, we'll just put together what's called RUBS or a ratio to where each person can pay their own ratio of the total water bill. I look at that. I look at what kind of ancillary income can come in. Do they charge pet fees? Do they have a dog park? Yeah. Do they have dog treats?
That's right.
Do they have wash and dry hookups, but nobody has wash machines there? Well, they probably can't afford it, but they may be able to afford $25 more a month to pay for that. I just look at, I had a property close to Northside High School. Should I just charge parking? They had a whole parking lot in the back, and every time there's a football game, everybody comes back there parks. Should I just charge you $2 to come park every basketball, football game? You just look at different ways to add value to your property through fees. And ultimately, that adds to what we talked about last week. It adds to your NOI, your net operating income. It adds straight to that line as income. It doesn't cost you more to do these things most of the time. Like pet fees, it didn't cost you more to charge a pet fee. It didn't cost you more to tell people to pay their water bill if through a ratio. So that just adds to your value.
Maybe your mom and pop is not collecting late fees like this.
Yeah, or late fees. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. You got to look at bank statements to find that out. Because I don't know any lease that I've ever seen that doesn't have late fees. Yeah. But does somebody just show up on the 6th and just drop it in the mailbox and say, hey, here's your rent?
We've ran into inefficient times where we weren't collecting late fees like we should have.
Too much going on.
And so... there's so many ways. So we could go on for 30 minutes on this, but
maybe we should, man.
We've done.
I'm just kidding.
We've got presented deals through Cox Cable, doing a package with the apartment complex, and they actually pay you because they know all the tenants are now going to be exclusive to Cox Cable. Number? So I get it.
Get it for me, man.
Well, you know the person that can get the deal.
I do?
Yeah.
All right, tell me off here. We can get that going. I might make some money off that.
That's
deal.
Right. Trust me, it's a moneymaker.
So we go pretty deep. We went pretty deep on the multifamily question. If you have more questions, of course, you can go to our Facebook page and submit it through there. We're working on the website. You'll be able to submit it through the website as well. But right now, go to our Facebook page, Highballers. You should see our pretty mugs on there.
That's right. Go do it. Let's get some more questions. We want to keep them rolling and keep it active. And we have plenty of ideas down the road, but we love to have your questions because we want you to grow your knowledge while you're listening to us. Yeah. Do it on your drive or you're working out at the gym. Whatever you may be doing. Yeah. You gain knowledge by listening to people that have been in the trenches and doing it. Yeah. And so whether you're beginner, experienced, and And we want your feedback, no
Yeah,
matter
for
what
sure.
it is. Go give us a review and rating.
Yeah.
Let us know how we're doing. So.
You're rating me. You're not rating Matt because he doesn't.
You can be specific on your rating. You can
Yeah.
let us know.
Let's do that. Let's see who you like more.
Oh.
Do that. Last question, you guys, and I'm not going to talk as much on this question.
Josh is going to go rate himself. He's going to
I
have
am,
people
man.
do it in his
Am I a
office.
conceited prick? I'm sorry, man. I love you though. I just give you a hard time. Last question. This is definitely a Matt question. And to be transparent, this is the question I asked him on Saturday that he didn't text me back on. Somebody asked me a question. I text Matt and said, "Hey, can you answer this question for me?" The guy who said he would wear my T-shirt, he didn't text me back. How do I find hard money lenders? And what is a hard money lender for those who don't know?
So a hard money lender is an asset-based lender. It's somebody that would be typically turned down from a bank trying to buy their first investment property.
Yeah.
You're most likely can get approved through hard money. They literally they use private funding, they raise capital, and then they loan it out and they pay their investors a fee, and then they get the fee on top of that. So your interest rate's going to be a little bit higher. Your origination fee and your closing fees are going to be a little bit higher, but they're also going to close a deal in less than 2 weeks, and they're going to get you funding when otherwise you couldn't. So you may look at it as, I would never pay 7% or 8% for this
Yes, you
property.
would.
Bullshit.
If you're gonna make 40,000.
Yeah, you will.
Hold on.
And so-
This is a monumental moment. I think that was the first curse word. Ooh.
So,
Bleep, 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 bleep.
hey, I'm being honest with it, and we talk about it in this podcast. We're going to be honest with you, and we're not going to hold anything back. And so you need to know all this, and you need to know kind of our passion and how we feel about these topics. And so the hard money is, like I said, it's a way for people that wouldn't otherwise get it. It's a way to grow your portfolio. It's a way to try to get in with very little money down.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity. I've built relationships with them to where I actually get rates and terms that are comparable to your hometown bank. And so they're on 6-month interest only. You're paying interest only. And then you go out, whether you fix it up and rent it, fix it up and sell it, you've got your time. Now you can refinance if you keep it with a bank. Like I said last week, you've got a tenant in place, you've got a rehab property. What bank's going to turn you down now? Now you've got the cash flowing asset, not one that's sitting there and just sucking your cost, and just doing opportunity cost. So the way to build them is I networked. But the initial way, the very first thing I ever did was got on a website called Connected Investors. You get on Connected Investors, you type in, there's a funding tab, you go type in what you're looking at, the project you're looking at. I guarantee you'll have 5 calls the next day. But hard money lenders, they're not hard to find. Google them. They're all over the country, and they're ready to go. Trust me, they close it fast, and you build that relationship with them. I think it's 5 deals, then you start getting good terms. So you do 5 closed transactions, then your terms start dropping, your experience gets better, and they get more comfortable.
So a traditional bank is looking for bank statements. They're looking for a track record. They're looking for liquid cash. They're looking for a lot of things. What are your hard money lenders looking for?
So we do have to give them financial statements. I think initially I gave them a schedule of real estate owned. So it's your first deal, maybe it's your primary house or you don't have anything. We have a schedule because we have a lot of properties now. And so we have a big schedule with income it brings in, what we pay for it, what the value is, debt on it, etc. So they know what my liquidity is when it comes to real estate. So financial schedule of real estate owned. I don't think I ever submitted a tax return to them. No bank statements, and I believe it was just a bio, and then they run all the values on the property. Like I said, it's asset based.
Okay,
They're
so-
most likely not going to turn you down for no matter what your financial.
Are they looking at your
statement
credit?
says.
What
Yeah,
are-
they're looking at your credit, but they'll loan down to like a 525 credit score. I haven't found one that won't go down in the mid 5s.
Okay.
It's really not an effect on them because, like I said, they don't loan. Your commercial bank will loan you 85% on a lot of single family, 1 to 4 families, 80% on big multi. They're going to loan you 70, 75%. That way, if they got to sell it quick because you didn't pay, they'll get their money back, and their investors will get their money back.
Gotcha.
So they're a little more careful on that. That's why their fees are higher too.
Gotcha. So what kind of fees do they charge? For
So-
example, and I know everything's different, but just give a quick example.
So a fee that a lot of people know is your origination fee. That's the fee on a lot of commercial real estate transactions. That's how banks make their money,
Yeah.
is they'll give you a good interest rate, but they're going to get their fee. If you're get enough experience, you get that down and I don't think my dad's paid an origination fee in years, and if they offer it to him, he'll back out. I've seen it happen many times.
Yeah.
So typical, you're going to have a commercial bank is going to be a 0.5 point or 0.5% to 1% of your price that your loan is. The hard money, you're going to start at probably 2 to 3% on your origination fee, and that's hefty. You know, you're looking at maybe 9% interest, 3% origination. But in the grand scheme of things, if you bought the deal right, they're not going to loan it to you if the asset's not right. It's just not going to happen. Like I said, asset based. But if you bought it right, that 3%, it's nothing to get you started. And so, you know, you're willing to do that. So you're looking at anywhere from 2 to 3%, 9 to 11% interest.
Gotcha.
That's what you're looking at. To give you where I'm at, doing with one company that we built a relationship with, I'm down to 6% interest and 0.5 to 1% origination fee.
So this is the context of this question. She can get a loan through a bank. She don't have the down payment though.
Yeah.
Will a hard money lender do that? Because then they're in second position technically.
They're going to have to be in, I don't think I've ever used them in a second position.
Okay, so you use them for acquisitions.
Yes.
And you
Yes,
come
I don't
up-
ever use them for refinances. That's not, you're refinancing, if you can't get it with a commercial or your community bank, you just keep it.
Well, some of this, or put it in a different context.
Yeah.
Let's just say they bought a property. They were able to get 100%, finance on the property. They don't have renovation costs.
Yeah.
Like they don't have the 20 grand to be able to make that 50 grand profit. I mean, is that something they look at? Or they want to be in first position. They want to be.
So they're going to be in the first position. Now you probably got two options, and now we're getting into a topic that probably be suited for another podcast, and I can talk all day about raising private money.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do.
I love that.
Is to raise private money,
Yeah.
and I've raised over $1.5 million in the last 12 months.
I may need you one day.
And so you're looking at family, friends. Hey, I've got a $20,000 rehab. Here's what this house is really worth. Here's what I can sell it for. Here's how quick I can do this. I'll pay you a percentage of the profit, or I'll pay you a really high interest rate. Because once again, if you bought it well enough, you don't give a crap.
Yeah.
It's not. I know it sounds ridiculous, and if the wealthiest people in the world will pinch pennies on deals and interest rates and things, you're just getting started. I mean, you've got to start somewhere. Yeah. It's either that or nothing. Why don't you get started using that?
You got to get that track record going.
Or you can do a after repair appraisal on a community bank that maybe you banked with your whole life and try to get them in a second
That was
position.
your thing for a while.
So it was.
The
after
asset-based
repair
loans with the community bank, you killed that for a while.
But I have relationships with every bank within 100 miles here. I was a banker. I dealt with them working for my dad. I've known, I know them all the way up to CEOs of banks. And so that helped. Doesn't mean they'll give me whatever I want, because they won't. But
they did for a while.
They did for a while. Yeah, they did. And so, we've done everything like we're supposed to. Everything agreed. Yeah. I think they're all pretty happy. So, but there's a couple ways, and I'd love to at one point get into the raising private money.
Let's do that next podcast, because we're getting towards the end. Next time we're going to talk about raising private money. How do you get those deals done? Because a lot of you guys are probably going to be new. A lot of the experienced guys like me and him, I don't personally listen to a lot of podcasts anymore.
I still do. I still listen to. I got my one podcast a day. That's what my reminder is set on. So,
dude, you should see my library. I used to have like 10 of them that I would rotate on a weekly basis. I don't listen to any of them anymore. For me, it's just like getting out there and actually doing it. So once you get to a point, and maybe we'll do a motivation podcast one day, or you can watch his podcast. Is it Moving with Matt? Is that
Moment with Matt.
Moment with Matt is all motivation and stuff like that. Once you figure out when you crack the code, you don't have time to be listening to podcasts. You just got to do stuff.
And I wear these AirPods, and they are the best thing I've ever bought.
You just do it. So you do them. You have the AirPods, so you can not answer your calls and your texts.
Maybe
they come from me.
Or I can pretend like I don't know you in public because I'm on the phone. But I listen to. So what I do is 1 to 2 books a month, and on the other time I'm not reading the books, which are audio, I do podcasts. I'm always wanting to learn, but you can learn all you want to. If you don't go out and do it, like you said, implement it, it doesn't mean anything. It's worthless. Yeah. So go use it to your advantage. Yeah. And I shot a video this morning for our YouTube talking about motivation and overcoming failure and all that stuff. you got to go do it. You got to take action, or it's worthless and it wasted everybody's time and yours. So.
All right, well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Highballers. I just noticed that I had this great value tag on here, and they don't sponsor us.
Hey, you see this right here? There's no glass. There's no Highballer glass in my hand. We are looking for sponsors. This could be you right here. When this, well, yeah, you watch this following. You watch this continue to grow, and this could be your opportunity to get in now with us. So we're actively looking for sponsors. We're ready to rock and roll. So holler at us, me or Josh. Harmon Real Estate, 2M Investments. Megaphone Pro Solutions, we appreciate all of it.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
So we're ready to get your name right here in front of us, get it on our Highballer glass, get some good whiskey, something in here to drink. And
I
so,
love that. Some Jack. Some Jack.
And it's been good. I like it.
I appreciate it.
Episode 2 in the books.
Thank you.
Get ready. We'll drop next week.